So, this part of the teaching, I want to talk about the mechanisms of a word curse. We know that scripture teaches us that Satan works through deception, accusations, and a person's agreement with lies. So in John 8:44, you are of your father, the devil, and the desires of your father you want to do. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks from his own resources, for he is the father of lies. Next, we need to understand that he is an accuser. Revelation 12:10. Then I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ have come. For the accuser of our brethren who accused them before our God day and night has been cast down. So the enemy is called the accuser of the brethren. That's a tactic of the kingdom of darkness. Accusations. Let's understand the agreement with believing the lies, because this is the part where it gets into a person's mind, and this is the part where the enemy is very destructive. So we're going to read Corinthians chapter 10 verses 4 and 5. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for pulling down strongholds, casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ, and being ready to punish all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. That's beautiful. So that scripture really tells us about bringing our thoughts, taking every thought captive into the obedience of Christ. And so that's an important part of this, because when someone speaks a curse or negativity over another person, sometimes that person that received that word, they can internalize it. It gets into their minds, and then they get really fearful around that word. And especially when there's a power imbalance in a relationship. And when I say power imbalance, I'm not saying anything mystical. I'm just saying one person is in a leadership or authoritative role while another one is in a subordination role. So that's just an imbalance of power. So basically what it does when a person believes it, it causes a fear-based thinking. The thing about a fear-based thinking is it causes the person to be irrational. They're believing the lies and deception of the enemy that was spoken on them through another person. And you guys, if we don't get in control of those lies, if we allow those lies to stay in our minds and remain in our minds, what we think becomes what we produce. If our mind is set on evil, if our mind is set on negativity, if our mind is full of lies, then it suppresses the truth. And then we know in 2 Timothy 1:7, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love and of power and of a sound mind. So words go into the mind and they become beliefs. I am comfortable with the word curse because the Bible uses it, and it's fine to use that terminology. In James 3 verses 5 through 6, it says, the tongue sets on fire the course of life. And then again, Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue. And then Matthew 12:37, By your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. You see, I think that people don't want to be accountable for the things that they say about other people. They don't want to face the facts that when we say bad things and evil things about other people, we should feel a sense of responsibility towards the care of this person's mind and self-image and understanding. Like, we should feel something, especially as Christian believers. But a lot of people don't. They don't feel a sense of responsibility. They feel like, well, you took it that way. I didn't mean it that way. That's between you. That's on you. I could say what I want. That's on you. But that's not what the scripture says. And, when we curse someone, the damage for that person comes from their agreement. They agree with it. They get fearful around it. It distorts their identity and self-image. Proverbs 27:3 says, "For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." So if we are a person that has some type of authority, we're a teacher, we're a parent, we are, a leader in our church, we have to be very, very careful and understanding of what we say to people and the words that we use, because if we're saying evil things, we are cursing someone. That is what I mean on this channel when I say cursed. I'm not saying that you have power to curse someone's life, because in actuality, you don't have the last say so on someone's life. You can cause them to have a distorted identity because of the words that you spoke, but God can redeem them. God can change the trajectory of their life.